This is the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla.
This is a community where we're going to be able to share ideas and discuss the issues of the day, and we're going to find solutions.
An exciting launch of a new venture. The Sarah Palin channel is up and running. We'll have the details. He is the man behind the great Palin film, The Undefeated. Executive Chairman of Breitbart News, Stephen K. Bannon is here. Governor Palin has some choice words for Jesse the Coward Ventura. We strap in with the Colonel once again. Rob Maness joins us from Louisiana. A brand new Commonwealth Common Sense with Susan Stimson is coming up from Virginia. And just ahead, our latest edition of Steel Resolve with Sarah Steelman of Missouri. First, we welcome back Stephen K. Bannon, the great filmmaker who gave us The Undefeated. He is the executive chairman of Breitbart News, a radio host, and a patriot. Steve Bannon, hello, sir.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for being here. You know, you were the very first guest on the Palin Update years ago, so it's really a special day to have you back.
Well, as you know, I love all things Palin, and we're huge supporters of the Palinista posse. So it was a great honor for me to kick the show off a couple of years ago.
You made The Undefeated with that possibility out there that Governor Palin could run for president in 2012. I launched the Palin Update around the same time, and you were our very first guest, as we mentioned. What's changed since then when it comes to Sarah Palin? She didn't run for president, as we all know, but she has been very relevant, especially through social media. How has she been unique, if you will, compared to others in that respect?
Well, she's, the one aspect you can tell how influential and powerful she is how much the left, their heads blow up every time she comes out and says something. And they continue to say she's irrelevant, she speaks for herself, she's a party of one, etc. And that's only because they totally get and understand the tremendous moral and intellectual force that she is. Governor Palin is incredibly smart. She's been right so many times in the past, whether it was, Russia's interest in the Ukraine, death panels, you can go on and on about where she's always ahead of the curve. And here recently with the whole impeachment discussion about President Obama's continuing lawlessness, particularly in regards to immigration. So it's she's used social media as a platform. It's been very smart between Twitter and Facebook. Her Facebook thing is epic, and I'll bet you we pick up 3 or 4 stories a month at least off of her Facebook postings, write up something, and they're always some of the biggest traffic getters at our site, even after they've been on Facebook. That's how powerful her voice is. So I quite frankly think Governor Palin is increasing in her influence, although she has, appears to be not contemplating, at least in the short term, running for elective office. She continues to be one of the great leaders of the conservative movement and the American wing of the Republican Party.
And now, along with the power of Twitter and Facebook, she's launched Sarah Palin Channel, where people can go ahead and get exclusive Governor Palin content anytime, all day. What do you think about that, and how will that play a role in adding to her influence and adding to the power to go along with Twitter and Facebook? We have a show on SiriusXM. I realize you're on terrestrial radio. We have a show on SiriusXM and have a partnership with Sirius, and that's the first time we've really gone into a pay service or behind a paywall. As you know, at Breitbart, we don't have a paywall. Everything is up there. It's all ad-supported or revenue-supported from other sponsors or people like Taboola and people that use our traffic to monetize other avenues. We've taken a hard look at putting up pay windows. I honestly, I'm not a fan. I'm just not a big fan of these pay windows. I think it's going to be interesting. If anybody can make something work, it's probably Governor Palin. I think, she and Todd really think through things when they do it. I think it's another particular people that want more insights into her life. It's probably a good thing. I'm not sure I'm crazy about the price point. I think it's a little rich at, was it $9, $9.99 a month, but these guys have some serious business partners. I happen to know the guys at Discovery very well who put the money in. And so we'll have to see. I think that it's all very experimental now on what I call putting things behind a pay window. I know in digital media, whether it's the Times of London or the Wall Street Journal or the Financial Times. It seems to be the wave of the future. Breitbart's a little bit like the Daily Mail, is that we want to have maximum exposure of all of our material. And so we haven't, although we've been approached many times, we haven't put things back in the paywall. I think Governor Palin is going to be an interesting experiment. But for those who can't afford the $9 a month or the $100 a year, however it works out, there's plenty of access to Governor Palin. Otherwise, she's got a huge Facebook following, huge social media. She's on Fox, a contributor. We follow minutely. We have Tony Lee, the great Tony Lee, and others that follow basically every move that Governor Palin makes. So it's, I think for those that want to see, get more of a insight to her life and how things evolve every day, it's probably going to be great. But like I said, I think she's going to be a great bellwether of whether these, what they call them, over-the-top networks, these pay networks can actually work. So it's, I think we'll have to wait and see.
And does this channel, you think, just speak to the fact that she could do this because of her popularity, or does this indicate perhaps maybe a forecast of what may be down the road? Do you think this is setting up shop for a possible run or, plans in the future?
I don't know. I would think that it would probably be the opposite of a potential run because the commitment you'd have to put into doing this. I mean, look, Governor Palin plays things very close to the vest, as she should, and she seeks her own counsel, which I think is proven to be smart in the past. I think that she's got a huge platform and she has a huge ability to drive the conversation. I mean, she's literally been one of the drivers in this American sovereignty debate over the last 2 or 3 months. And as you saw this past Friday with this really epic battle that took place between conservatives and the kind of globalist establishment of the Republican Party, the American wing of the Republican Party, the conservatives, the people that are against this open borders madness really stood tall and had a huge victory. That was in large part due to the moral and intellectual influence of Governor Sarah Palin. So she still has a huge amount of impact. I don't know if this new channel will do that. I think you are going to get some news, but I think it's really, these things are principally, I believe, community-based, that people that really want to be a part of the Palin community get a much more, intimate relationship and knowledge of her and what's happening every day in her life and what's happening with the family and her views on news and things you can't get elsewhere on Fox. She says she's not going to have the media filter. So I think it's to build that community that through your radio show, our website, Facebook, others, she's already built up quite a bit, but to give them more of a content they can't get anywhere else. I think it's, and by the way, I think if anybody's to actually make that business model work, I think Governor Palin's probably, like I said, the one. So it's, I think the entire business model in that area is still to be seen whether it works or not. If anybody can make it work, I believe it's Governor Sarah Palin.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because you look at it too, people, they're interested in Todd Palin. They're interested in Bristol, the family. You don't see that with any other person in the field of politics. No one cares, even if they care about the person themselves, they certainly don't care about the rest of the group where the Palins do have that real connection with folks. Now, your great film, The Undefeated, is a few years old now, but I see you gain Twitter followers, the film does, and Facebook likes all the time. Why such staying power?
Well, I think that it's out there. As people buy DVDs, as people see it, there's special screenings of it all the time. And I'm very proud of the film and the fact that we try to cut through all the cant and verbiage and really get down to what she accomplished as a leader. It's pretty extraordinary. I'm really proud of that film, and the film continues to have legs. In fact, this week I'm actually having some meetings with people that want to take the film and put it on broader range of television and other opportunities for it. So the film's got real legs, although it's several years old, because it tells I think a very simple and powerful story about a young woman who really took leadership in an environment that was full of crony capitalism. That would be the state of Alaska. And those lessons that the film, shows, I think are even more relevant today on the national scene. So I always think that if Governor Palin ever decides to actually seek the presidency, that the film would be a great introduction to
the people that don't know her that well. I can tell you from having sat through hundreds of screenings and sat through small screenings and boardrooms with people who were not fans of Sarah Palin when the film started. They had a very different take when they finished it, because her story, I believe that's the only time her story's really been told is through that film.
What's the latest at Breitbart? A lot of expansion of late with new bureaus in California, Texas, and England.
Well, we're doing what we call a localization and globalization. We intend to become, and we'll have some announcements later this summer and fall, to be the first populist center-right news service globally. We're expanding to Asia. We're expanding to the Middle East. We've already had great success with our London, the launch of our London, Breitbart London, our London bureau. Breitbart California has been very successful. Breitbart Texas changed the narrative in this country. For 2 years, we have covered the border, and we've done it with very sophisticated people. The whole concept of starting Breitbart Texas earlier this year was simply to be able to put more resources on the ground in Texas to report those stories. And quite frankly, the handling of the information and stories we had for the last 2.5 years, and particularly after we launched Breitbart Texas, really had the Border Patrol come to us with those pictures that broke the story wide open. This story became a national story over the Memorial Day weekend when Breitbart Texas, on the Breitbart site, put up those pictures that were leaked to us by Border Patrol agents about these resettlement centers with these thousands of kids down in the Rio Grande Valley. And from there to last Friday night, it's totally changed the national debate. And the day that we put those pictures up on Memorial Day weekend, immigration was number 12 on the Gallup and AP polls of the interest of the American people. It is now number 1. In a poll that came out Friday, said that 90% of the American people think it is the central, most important issue America is dealing with today, and that is greater than jobs and greater than the economy. And nothing has topped jobs or the economy since the invasion of Iraq back in 2003. So for 10 years, after the Iraq War started to wind down in 2006, 2007, since that time, jobs and the economy have been number 1 until this week, where it's been immigration. That is because of the job we're doing at Breitbart Texas. We're going to open up many more bureaus regionally throughout the United States and globally. So at Breitbart, we're at the top of the first inning as far as our expansion plans.